Hello and welcome everybody to the newest installment in the second book of Daughter of Alba. Today's title is Apokalypsis, Revelation. You have been told that tomorrow evening there's going to be a big festival in your honor where you will be basically introduced to everybody, that everybody knows that, if you will, the prodigal daughter of the town has had a daughter herself, which is you, and you have come to basically Monophrastos for reasons that are entirely your own, although maybe your aunt thinks that they are different than they really are. You have basically been told that there will be competitions, running, etc., wrestling, both girls and boys and women and men wrestle. Mm-hmm. And there will be dancing, choral dancing, which Siobhan will take care of. So Siobhan is supposed to be there tonight, basically around dusk, so that she can be taught a couple of basic steps. Mm-hmm. And you have also asked Siobhan to draw the symbol that has been emblazoned between your shoulder blades because you want to show it to someone, but that someone is not your aunt, Radamanthia, but it is... did you want to show it to the priestess in Monophrastos, or did you want to wait until you get to the goddess of Orthia's temple?
Both. I wanted to show it to Fano as well, then when we move on to the other one as well.
Okay, so it's now around about, I want to say, about 10 to 11. So you have also been told that there is a really beautiful prism cave, which is a nice place to visit during daylight hours, because only then does the light flood in, and then the prisms can do their thing, which is to refract light. And then it's kind of like a couple of, maybe an hour or so on foot, or or if you take your horse, you'd be maybe a bit 45 minutes or something. And that would be a nice trip. So you've decided that you want to go to the cave, but yet you also want to go to the temple. Now, you can do both of these things between now and dusk. So I leave it up to you in which order.
I think we would do the temple first, then we can grab the horses, and then we can have our day out to visit the prison caves.
Do you take... excuse me. Do you take Siobhan with you to the temple?
It's her decision if she wants to join or not.
Okay, so she'll tag along.
Then, let's see if Mother Fano, I think she's called Mother, isn't it?
No, they're just called, they don't use that title there.
Okay.
She just introduced herself as Fano. So you arrive at the temple. Go inside.
Yep.
So do you go and look for her?
I would go and look for her.
You find her, and she says, Ashley.
Good morning.
Good morning. Welcome. Welcome to our temple. Welcome, Siobhan. What can I do for you?
Well,
are you excited about the festival?
A bit nervous, but it will be fine.
She gives you a wide smile.
Will you be there as well?
Of course, everybody will be there. All of the men will come from the mess hall.
Looking over to Siobhan, thinking about the poor guy. Everybody, okay. Interesting.
We like our festivals. We like competition.
I see.
And of course, we need all the men for the dancing.
Also understandable. Oh, we'll see how it will be this evening.
Would you like to pray? And she points to the statue.
No, thank you. I don't think that would be very fitting. I just have actually just one smaller question, a little bit out of the blue, but have you ever seen this symbol? I'm not sure if this is maybe part of your deity framework. And she would very carefully hold out a piece of paper with the drawing.
She looks at it, and you can tell two things instantaneously. Number one, oh boy, has she seen this before. And secondly, whatever this is, it's not good.
Well, the second part is not surprising. So you've seen it before.
Indeed, I have.
And it doesn't seem to be a good sign when I read you correctly.
This is the symbol of the enemy.
The enemy?
His name is Mephistopheles. He's the Lord of Chaos. He is the direct opposite of our supreme deity, Orthea, order. We have a sacred group of warriors that stand their ground. They all come from the temple. They are all members of Orthea's mysteries. And the fact that you show this to me shows me that you know more about your mother than you have told me, because she would have been one of those warriors had she stayed.
It's not from my mother. We stumbled over it traveling. And we were just curious.
Isn't it curious that actually you would stumble over this, because it is not common knowledge. We do not share this. It is one of the sacred pieces of knowledge. And I'm only revealing this to you because you have revealed this sign to me. Only very few people have seen this. And those that have are sworn to secrecy. Where have you found it?
In an old temple. Knowing that Siobhan is like, probably like, don't, but well. But I don't think it's important what it is. I was just curious for what that sign stands, and I get this is secret knowledge. There's not much for me to learn about it. I have some personal connection to that. As I said, it has nothing to do with my mother.
Well, if you want to know all about it, go to the Temple of Orthea.
That's the plan anyhow, so that we will do. Well, thank you for your openness.
I hope you did not pray in that temple where you found this, and she points to the paper.
I'm not praying to any god, so don't worry. And Siobhan has her own goddess. She's not praying to others.
This is not a god. He is the Lord of Chaos. He is the one who came first and the one who will be last.
Okay.
He has children.
As everyone does.
And they are not much better. Lesser in power, but evil.
Now to find back the notes. No way to find it. Well,
find what?
Again, names that we collected from everyone around, but she would not dig deeper into the conversation because the knowledgeable people are not here. So she will basically just say her thank yous and wish her a nice day. See you later. And then she would try to get out of the temple quite quickly.
You can leave. She's not gonna stand in your way.
And then it's getting the horses because they will like to have some movement as well. So we will grab our horses and then take a ride towards the prison cave. And let's see how that is.
Do you say anything to Siobhan?
No. Well, she would just be like, okay, let's get the horses, let's go to prison cave. And then she would not have anything to... What should she say to Siobhan? Then it's not... They have a name now, that's all. They have nothing else. That's not really something to discuss.
Okay.
At least not in Ashling's or my mind. That information is not a solution to the problem.
Okay. So
it's a question
after
if
about
Siobhan is saying anything, but Aisling would focus on the prism cave.
Roll on menschenkenntnis.
Okay.
Please.
Menschenkenntnis. Good. Now everything is smaller. That's a 2 and a big no. She's focused on herself. Finding the way to the cave. Enjoying the view and the beautiful landscape.
Well, you can enjoy the view and the landscape is beautiful. It's lots of cedar trees again. There is a constant wind from because you're basically riding towards the sea.
Mm-hmm.
And the cave is easy to find because there is a path. And you can see that the path would continue onto the beach or the shore. And basically, there is also a side path, and that branches off as it was described to you. And after another 10 minutes or so up that path, you reach a cave, and there is no doubt that this is a cave. So do you go inside?
Yes. If it's just free to walk in, I'm not sure if it's guarded or anything like that.
No, there is no human person inside.
Then, yes, we would carefully go inside and have a look around.
Mm-hmm. So the cave itself is the whole area is mountainous. So there are always mountains, like, maybe, I don't know, 200, 300 meters up.
Mm-hmm.
So not very tall, you could climb them, but they are actually almost sheer rock. So the rock is on the surface. And this is now a cave, which, as you enter, you see must have caved in places, or because there are shafts of light coming in through the ceiling. So there are, so it's not a solid cave.
Yep.
And on its sides, inside, on the walls especially, but also growing out of the floor, out of the ground, are crystals. So this is just a cave full of crystal growth.
Okay.
And because the light shafts are there, the light is refracted, and you see it's like walking into a kaleidoscope.
Mm-hmm.
And it is, if that's your thing, really beautiful. It's nothing else is there, so there isn't any people, there aren't any animals, maybe cicadas or something, maybe a bat or two, but other than that, it's more, if you're into that kind of thing, a sight of natural beauty.
Mm-hmm. Well, it's still something we have never seen before, I suspect. So it would be a few like oohs and ahs for sure, and I think Aisling will stand quite in the middle of the cave, quite mesmerized, just looking around.
Mm-hmm. And Siobhan is also mesmerized by this. And in a way, the god Zan is the god of light.
Mm-hmm.
And so there's basically a trifecta of gods where you come from that are most important. Ilator, Zan and Ivana, the three of them are brothers and sisters.
Mm-hmm.
Ilator is the god of death, Zan is the god of the sun, and Vana is the goddess of life.
Mm-hmm.
And basically she looks around and she says, Zahn is everywhere, but in here he is more beautiful than I've ever seen him.
Here's a place where I can even believe they exist.
Of course they exist. How do you think I heal?
Because you are a very talented woman.
I'm a good healer, yes, but when I work what you call the miracle, it's not me who's doing anything. It is the goddess that works through me. You know that. You've seen it.
Yes. Well, I know they're there. They're just, as I said, not really useful for everyone. But this is a beautiful place. Really stunning.
I believe that the people that I've healed using her powers have considered her very useful.
But she's not healing, you are healing.
You know that this is not true. And you can see that this is kind of like a sore point.
Yeah, and I think that's a point where they're always headbutting a little bit, because in Ashling's mind it's, if Siobhan would not be there, there would not be healing or anything. The gods would not care. So it's all Siobhan is the important part in all of this. That's at least in mind of Ashling.
So Siobhan actually sits down a little and just looks at it.
Mm-hmm. I think Ashling would also sit down in a corner and really just let it sink in and enjoy the view.
And then after a while, she gets up and she says, "Shall we go?"
It's quite peaceful here.
It is. And there's also a very light echo.
I think what Ashling would do, she would have a peek around if there's like any bit like a broken part of crystal or something like that. Have like this little souvenir to remember this place, because she would not break it because it's too beautiful to break it, but she would at least try to peek and see if she can find like a little shard or a piece.
There is.
She would carefully pick it up and put it in her pouch.
It's about this size.
Yeah, perfect.
Yeah.
Well, then let's go and maybe we can see who's back at the hut first. I know that's mean, no, but we should maybe see that we can get a bit of movement for the horses. At least Storm is bored. I can feel it.
You want to race me?
He's so energetic. He needs to gallop a little bit.
Well then, why don't we gallop towards the next village over?
That's a good idea. I know Percy is not the same as Storm, but...
We will not race you, but we will follow behind.
Okay, let's do that. I'll
Okay.
tap her on the shoulder and then we will grab our horses and then way back. And Ashling will give Storm the heals. Like, come on, let's power through. That, as I said, he can get rid a little bit of his energy.
So basically, there are two more townships, as it were. There's the township of Helos, which is the furthest away, which is where the Temple of Orthea is. And between Monophrastos and Helos is Amyklai. And the road is basically quite a good one, again, because the army would march.
Yeah.
So you can, if you want to, just give him the reins and he will just run.
Just for a little bit.
Amyklai.
Exactly, until we're there, catch up.
And
then we would wait for Percy and Siobhan to catch up with us.
Percy does gallop, but first of all, by no means as quickly, nor as consistently. Simply because he's not like that. He's not a war horse. He's
He's a good horse.
He wasn't bred for that. He was
No.
bred to carry people like Siobhan who can hardly ride.
Yeah.
She's getting better, but it's not her natural thing. And so you give him the reins and you fly through the countryside, and you come to you leave Monofrastos and then you pass by 3 large buildings, 2 on one side of the road, the other one on the other. And you know that these are the mess halls, which is where the men between 21 and 30 live. So once they become full citizens, they need to apply to be made part of such a mess hall. If you have been considered a coward during your agoge, during your upbringing, then it's very difficult, and then you are actually ostracized. If you're a Spartiate or a Monofrastian man who is not part of a mess hall, you have no family, you have no life, you can just basically go and kill yourself, which is what they do.
Okay.
And this is where they live. So these are really huge halls where they have sleeping quarters, but also a big hall where they sit to talk to each other and to eat. And each man has to provide food to the mess hall. So it's kind of like a symposium. That's what it's called. And there are 3, and that's where the men of Monofrastos live. You would have been told that there's another 2 between Amuklai and Helos being the smallest of the villages, only has 1 mess hall. And each mess hall houses about 100 men. If there are more than that in that age group, then they just have to. Basically, the buildings themselves are kind of somewhat flimsy. They can just build lean-tos. Okay. So you speed past these, and every so often you do come across some of the men or of the boys that are being brought up to be warriors in training. So they do a lot of running. They do a lot of carrying of heavy stuff, especially parts of tree trunks. And yeah, there's a lot of exercising going on, and it's a beautiful day. So and I believe that Storm is enjoying this.
He definitely. I think Aisling as well. Aisling enjoys it as well. She loves to be on the back of a horse and being out.
So after a while, you stop the horse, you rein him in, you turn, and you see Percy. Now he's cantering, he's no longer galloping, so they're coming towards you. It's taking another 10 minutes for them to catch up. That's Percy.
We will take the horses back home, I would suggest.
So you go back home.
They're well fed, cleaned. And then it's a question what to wear for the evening.
Well, this evening you're just not... you did tell them that you weren't going to put on something special. You were going to wear your own clothes, so there is nothing you have to worry about. And tonight is only the practicing.
Oh, right. Tonight is only the practicing.
You don't even have to go. It's just for Siobhan.
No, she will join. She wants to look at least. She's still curious. She's. I'm not dancing, but she's still curious.
Okay, so you have something to eat because at least Siobhan is hungry. And then it's time to go. You go to your aunt's house. And there are, by now, when you arrive, several women of all ages. Girls, 10, 12, up to women in their 50s and 60s. All in all, there is about 15 women.
Okay.
And then they basically take a look at you and admiring looks, obviously. You are a fine specimen. And then they look at...
broken, but okay.
Yeah. And then they look at Siobhan, and then they speak, and you know enough that they say, well, her clothes won't do. So
Siobhan's or mine?
Siobhan's, because they know that you won't be dancing. So your Radamanthia says, Briseis, please take Siobhan and give her some of my old clothes. Siobhan looks a little bit mortified, but she goes anyway. About 10 minutes later, she comes back. You've never seen her look like this at all. She's wearing what could best be called a shiv.
Mm-hmm.
It's all white. It comes down to half her thigh. And it's got a belt. And it's... and the arms are free. So it's sleeveless.
Mm-hmm.
She looks at you unhappy.
Aisling will walk over to her and you look amazing.
I'm half naked.
Just like all the people here? Because I guess
she looks-
others are wearing
all
that
of
as
the
well.
women are wearing exactly the same type of clothes today. Or this evening.
Well, it fits you perfectly. You look really amazing. But
And then
if
they start.
Okay.
Yeah.
No, before they start, Aisling would, if you don't like it, I can ask if there's another option.
In for a penny, in for a pound, as they say.
As I said, you look amazing. You don't have to worry. You are much more beautiful than all of them. Don't tell them.
She blushes. Then she kind of soft punches you in the arm. Okay, so then the dancing begins.
Mhm.
And remember how you were told, how you said, well, it's weird. Why is this part of learning how to become a fighter? It becomes pretty obvious after about... So basically what the women say is, first of all, watch, and then we will show you.
Mm-hmm.
The women, all 10 of them, all 12 of them, and there is 2 old ladies. They are 70. They have now joined. They basically keep time. And it starts, so basically there's a long line. They all have their arms around the shoulders of the person next to them. So if it's between 2, then both arms, and the last on the end has basically the free arm onto their waist. So it kind of like the elbow sticks out. And it's a really long line of 12 women.
Mm-hmm.
And then they start moving. So first of all, it's just to the left, to the right, to the left, and it's a really slow rhythm. Then it's to the front, to the back, and now this becomes more and more quick, becomes more and more vigorous, and then the lines start to part. So where you used to have 12, now you have 6 and 6, 3 and 3, and then the different lines move to the front, to the back, and then they basically walk past each other, and now it's getting really quick, and they're doing this really, really quickly. So if you've ever seen a military tattoo, that's exactly what this looks like. And they are fast. And then they start to turn. So each of these group of 3 is now turning, so they're wheeling around. And this is all happening outside. It's not happening in your aunt's house, because there wouldn't be enough room. And this only works if you're aware of what the people next to you are doing, but also what the other groups are doing. And sometimes you don't see them because they're behind you. Mm-hmm. And Siobhan is getting whiter and whiter in the face, because that looks complicated. Because not only is it that they're moving, but it's also the leg work. The footwork is quite intricate.
Yeah.
And then
Aisling would all the time be like, I know I'm not. No. She's just confirming her, like, I'm not dancing.
And then you find out why the women of Monophrastos are called thigh flashes, because now they all jump up in unison and they hit their heels against their buttocks. And of course, then you see all of the thighs, and they jump really high. And even the old ladies of 50, 60, they jump as high, and they manage to do this. And that, I'm told, I've never tried it myself, but this is actually quite intricate. And it's
that sounds like I would fall on my face, probably. But
yeah, That's exactly it. And then they are done after about... This has been going on for over 30 minutes now. So this is a strain. So they're all starting to sweat now. And then Radamanthia comes to you and she says, okay, Siobhan. And she holds out her hand and Siobhan takes it. And she is trying to be a good sport, but you can tell that she is feeling very uncomfortable.
Aisling would probably try to give her a sign that she doesn't have to do this if she doesn't want to.
Let's see if she sees this. No, she doesn't see it. And then they start. And of course they start slowly, again in the band of 12. And this is now going to go on for a long time, because for her to learn this is going to be very time consuming. But we will see how she does, because her Gewandtheit is 81 and her Geschicklichkeit is 78, so she's actually not too bad. So Gewandtheit is a pass, Geschicklichkeit is a pass as well.
Aisling would cheer her on in between, be like...
thumbs up and stuff, and yeah, of course you can tell that they have the women have been doing this
their whole
since
life.
They were children, or their whole lives, and of course they can do this literally with their eyes closed. Siobhan can't, so Siobhan has to concentrate, and it shows. She's concentrating, she's making mistakes, she's tripping. So every 30 minutes they take a short break, drink something, and then they go on again. And after
with the first break at this, Aisling would walk over to Siobhan and would then just tell her, if you have enough, you can stop. You know that, right? You're doing amazing. I would not come that far as you did, but you don't have to do this.
This is your family. I'm not going to let you down.
You're not letting me down. It's not our dance. We've never been trained in that. It's totally fine if you say no. But I know you. If you want to start something, you usually finish it. I just want to let you know that if it's really like, no way, you're allowed to step out of this.
And I think you know that she has committed to this, so unless she breaks something, she will do this.
But Aisling still wanted to give her like, you don't have to do this if you don't want to. But then it would be again the pep talk, like, but you're doing great. You keep in line with the others. So you can do this. This
goes on for another easily 4 rounds. So 2 hours later, Radamanthia comes with Siobhan in tow, and she says, it'll do. It'll do. She has a lot of talent.
She is a very good dancer.
And she only has to do this for half an hour tomorrow. After that, she's off the hook.
Aisling would give Siobhan a hug. You're amazing.
Siobhan, you can hear her breathe really quickly, and her heart's pounding, and you can see that she's flushed.
I would have fallen on my face several times, ran into others several times, probably broke a leg in between.
You wouldn't have. I've seen you climb trees. Heck, I've been on trees that you climbed as well, and I nearly fell off.
And also having everyone, I would not see half of them, so it's basically...
You actually don't see most of them. You just have to trust that they know what they're doing.
You see at least more than I do. I would just see half of this. No,
that is true. That is true.
So...
But now I'm really hungry.
Then let's see that we can get some food.
Radamanthia says, would you like to go home?
Looking at Siobhan, if you haven't planned us in for dinner, yes, that would be lovely to get some rest?
No, we hadn't made any plans. Of course, you can eat here, but we didn't know what your plans were, so I didn't specifically invite anyone around for dinner, because we will be seeing everyone tomorrow, and people will be wanting to talk to you.
Then, yeah, let's head home.
You head home.
Thank you for it. Well, clearly, thank you that they showed us, and for the patients, and to everyone. And then we go home, and Aisling would make dinner with whatever vegetables what we have there.
Well, Aglaya has been shopping for you, so you have a filled pantry. So it's mainly goat's meat. You have been given wheat. Well, not wheat, but flour.
Mm-hmm.
So you have been given your allotment of flour, or your consignment of flour. There is water. There is some pulses, some like whatever, and some tubers. So whatever those plants, like it's more like I forget the name. Pumpkin.
Mm-hmm.
Those longish pumpkins.
Yeah.
And of course, oil, vinegar, olives.
Yeah, she would throw something together that should be at least feeding, because there's someone who needs energy back.
Mm-hmm.
And then
she basically has come out of the. She's washed and she's changed. Well, she changed back there, and she was told that tomorrow she's going to get a fresh garment.
Mm-hmm.
So then she looks dead.
So early bed for you.
What about you?
Probably just sit a little bit longer and enjoy the calm before the storm.
You mean tomorrow evening?
Yes.
Will you be joining any of the competitions, the running or the wrestling?
I will have to see. I'm honestly not sure. I'm not here to compete and show myself. This feels completely not like why we are here.
So then maybe tomorrow during the day we should talk to your aunt and tell her that we would like to go to Helos the day after.
And after that, probably not stay for much longer. And that she can have the house back.
Yes.
Yeah, I will talk to her tomorrow. Mm-hmm. So it's a question if we should rather do that. No, we should do that before the feast, not that she has any ideas to say anything on the feast that is not happening.
I think so too.
Okay.
Do you mind if I go to bed now? I'm really tired.
Go to bed, feel free. I will clean up. I will probably sit a few minutes.
Leave it, I will do it tomorrow.
I will clean up. You did enough today. That's easily done. We didn't make that much dirty. Sleep tight.
She goes to bed, and you can see that she hasn't moved like this in a very, very long time, because that's different from just journeying, from just traveling.
Yeah.
And so you clean up.
I clean up. I will have a last look for Storm and Percy, see if they're fine, talking to them probably just a little bit. I think Aisling would sit outside for a few minutes, just enjoying the night.
It's beautiful. No clouds. You've noticed that there are very few clouds, so you can see the sky
and it's
azure.
Warmer here. Usually nighttime is where you want to be inside when we're back home. So here it's not really a problem.
I would say it's about 25 degrees.
Yeah, it's still warm and so just letting everything sink in. And probably like getting into this meditation, like empty mind, just situation for a while, and then she would go to bed.
You go to bed. You can see that Siobhan is sleeping like a log.
Mm-hmm.
So the next morning, you wake up.
Yep.
She's still sleeping.
I will stand up, just freshen up a little bit, and make breakfast.
Okay, you make breakfast. After a while, you finished making breakfast. Is she still not coming out? Do you wake her up?
Yeah, when breakfast is ready, I would carefully wake her up.
Is it time? Ow! Ow! Oh, I can't remember the last time I felt like this. Oh yes, I do remember. That was when I fell off that tree. Ow.
Well, this
But
time
I was 14.
you did not hurt yourself. This time you just used your muscles a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Breakfast would be ready if you like to. If not, stay a bit longer in bed.
No, actually, I'm starving. She eats. She digs in.
Aisling would have known that. Yeah, she would have suspected that. So she would have done a good breakfast, a full breakfast.
Then you're done.
Should we do a bit of warm-up for the muscles? I think it would not hurt you to warm them up, that it's not as hurtful to move.
What do you suggest? Running?
We can do some movements.
Sure.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So Aisling would basically, it's like training movements for fighting that she would do, but it really, all the muscles are in. It's not that much running, but just warming up the muscles.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Very slowly, carefully.
So like shadow fencing.
A little bit, yes. Just to have some stretching and some warm up and thing like that. And in hope that it will help Siobhan a little bit.
Mm-hmm. It does. It does. And it's also really good for you. So your muscles are...
I am
kind of
rusty as hell because I haven't done this in ages.
But of course you have muscle memory, so your muscles know exactly what to do. But they're like, hey, we haven't done that in a while. That feels good. We should do this more often. Knock, knock, knock.
Knock, knock. Please do that, yeah.
And, okay, and then basically Siobhan says, maybe you should talk to your aunt now. You know that she's in around lunchtime.
Yeah, I will definitely do that. You want to stay and just relax?
I think it's better if it's just the two of you.
Yeah, that's true. Then.
But I will be here, so I won't go anywhere. When you get back, we can talk about it.
If you want to go anywhere, feel free.
No, I'm just gonna spend some time with Stodham and Percy.
Okay.
But I will stay here because I really want to... I don't actually want to lie down, but I just want to,
relax.
You know, not walk around too much. Save my energy.
Then see you in a bit. And Aisling would leave the house and take the short walk to her aunt's place.
Mm-hmm. You knock on the door.
Yep.
Briseis opens. She greets you. Mistress, step inside, please.
Is my aunt there?
Yes, your aunt is here. I will let her know that you're there. If you will follow me through.
Thank you.
And she takes you to the atrium where she asks you to sit down, and then she goes away, comes back immediately with a jug of water, a jug of wine, and a mixing bowl, bread and olives. And she sets this down in front of you, and she says, the mistress will be with you presently.
Thank you very much.
And, like, do you take any drink, or?
She would drink some water and maybe take a little bit of the bread, but that's it.
Mm-hmm. And very shortly after that, your aunt arrives. Sister or daughter? She sits down, she takes wine and water and mixes it in the mixing bowl and has some. What a lovely surprise. I didn't expect to see you today until later.
Well, I just wanted to talk to you to get you up to speed for our plans as well.
Oh, what plans?
Well, tomorrow we will try to travel to Helos.
Oh, yes, you wanted to go to the temple, of course.
And get whatever information I can get about my mother there. And then, well, we will probably stay one night here, and then it's back to traveling. So we will...
Of course, I mean, Morafrastos, you haven't really seen much of it yet.
I'm honestly not sure if we will return. There's other things we have to do. So you definitely have the house back. And you can plan to do with it whatever you like in 2 days.
You're going to leave us?
Well, we're just on visit. We need to return homewards.
I see.
It's not that I'm glad that I found you and that you took the time to invite us in and tell me a little bit about my mother. But it's slowly time for us to get back home. And as I said, there are a few other things we have to do in the northern part.
That is very sad.
I will try to see if there's any way of postal connection that we can have, at least to stay in contact.
But I suppose this is your life.
Well, if you ever want to travel north, you're always welcome to visit us.
She smiles.
I can draw a map and tell you the points where to go and where we are.
Well, I suppose at least now I know what happened to my sister and that I have a niece. These are 2 pieces of information I didn't have 3 days ago. And sometimes good things do not last.
I'm sorry that we're not staying, but, well.
That is all right. I am sad, but there is nothing I can do, nor nothing that I will do. It is your decision.
There's a whole village waiting for us to return.
I suppose. Home is where the heart is, that's what we say.
That is a saying we have as well, and I think it's quite fitting. Although I really enjoyed the time here. So it's like a second place far away from home, where I feel a little bit home.
Well then, I will ensure that people who have the idea that you are staying, I will let them know so that there is no awkwardness.
That was why I want to tell you now. Just that. Also to make sure we are not leaving because we didn't like it here or someone was offensive or anything. It's just we have other plans.
I really appreciate this.
Everyone here was very warm and welcoming.
Good.
Thank you.
While you're here, would you like to take Siobhan's dress with you?
Yes, that would be the second part, if I can just grab it. Although it's quite short for our clothing. You're quite brave. I thought she struck a really amazing figure in it. She did, but it's brave for you to just do the dance in this. No one at home where we are from would even attempt to wear at least not double the cloth that this beautiful dress is.
No one in Chrysia does either. They say that we are wanton, loose women, but I can assure you, we are not.
Well,
we like to show our beauty, and I think we have plenty of beauty to show.
All of you have, but all the women I met so far, they know quite well what they want. It's not that they're giving everything out freely, it's their decision, which is really interesting and nice to see. Well then, and she claps her hand once and Briseis steps in and she says, Briseis, would you mind getting the dress for Ashling's friend for tonight? Aisling will take it to them. And Briseis nods, and like 5 minutes later she comes back with a shift that looks exactly what Siobhan had been wearing the day before, but you can tell it's freshly laundered, so it's not wet or even moist, but it's not the same she was wearing because last night's was soaked. Yeah. And it's really okay if I'm not wearing fitting clothing. I don't want to offend anyone or have you with a bad reputation. Well, I think if you would do the dancing, you would understand why you would have to change, because you will not be able to perform the dance in what you're wearing now. But since you won't be dancing, dance with any kind of. Since you will not be dancing, it is fine. Okay. Then thank you for the beautiful dress for Siobhan. And also for the patience again yesterday to teach her, basically.
If she had stayed, she would have become a fine dancer, I can tell you that. She would have broken a lot of hearts.
She is already starting to break hearts, so yes. Well, she's different than the other women here, so she sticks out.
That is true. But, and then she hands you the dress.
Aisling would carefully try to give her a hug if she lets her to.
Yeah, sure.
And then just...
She hugs you back.
Basically say goodbye then till the evening. We will be there in time.
Mm-hmm. So you go back to the house, or do you want to do anything else?
No, I would go back to the house with the dress, being careful not to get any dirt on it.
You
so
managed
very up high.
200 meters to your own house, holding up the dress.
Just making sure no one is bumping into that, no dirt is getting into it, and I would then get back home.
Yeah. So you arrive. Siobhan is inside. She is. Are you trying to be quiet?
No.
Okay, so basically you open the door.
Yep.
And she freezes in mid-motion. She has been, obviously, I mean, this is something that you would have expected. She's been practicing. So she's basically holding her arms out like so, like as if she had two people on either side of her, or one person on either side of her. And she is, and she looks at you and she says, you're back. I'm just practicing because, you know, the more often I do the steps, the more secure I feel. I hope you don't mind.
I don't
She has actually moved the furniture around a little.
Go on. I will carefully put the dress in our bedroom, and then she will hang it there, or make sure, or place it on the bed or something where it stays clean. Mm-hmm. And well, my aunt is quite sure that if you would stay longer for more practice, you would become one of the finest dancers they have. So you have a big potential here.
She's just being polite.
I don't think she would say that if she wouldn't mean it. I think all of them are quite polite but honest.
Yeah, I wonder where you got it from.
Well, not from my father, obviously, because honesty was never his thing, so it must be my mother's side.
And then she does, she keeps practicing a little more, and then basically the time passes, so it's now already 3 o'clock anyway, so at about 6 you make your way back. She changes.
We would just relax a little bit, cook something.
You make your way to the festival, which is on the Agora, and the place is packed. Not as packed as Nikostria by any means, but it is packed, so it's more people than and now you're seeing the men. And they strike a really imposing figure, all of them. They're all tall, they're all extremely well muscled, they all have long hair. Mm-hmm. Some of the ones are the ones who look more handsome with long hair, some look a lot more intimidating. They were on the ugly side before. Mm-hmm. And some of them also have quite a lot of scars from fighting. Mm-hmm. So, and you can see that they all have the scars at the front. And they do show them proudly. Mm-hmm. And you see men of different, male people of different ages, and they really stick together in age groups. All of the boys between 8 and 20 are naked, as are the girls. They are getting ready for something because they're oiling themselves and then they're throwing dust on them. And then a very old man steps forward, and he has a little horn and he blows it. Mm-hmm. And he says, now is the time for the wrestling.
Okay.
And then there are different couples that wrestle, and men and women wrestle against each other, which is strange. And that's why they have been oiling and dusting themselves, because then it's more difficult to grab the other person. You don't get a grip so easily. And they wrestle in the Greek style, so they basically throw each other. And if you touch both shoulders to the ground, then the other person wins. So, and this goes on for about an hour. So there are always 6 wrestling matches at any one time. And although this is supposed to be a festival, there are judges, people win the bouts, and then basically 2 winners fight each other while the 2 losers fight each other. So it's really, really
more like a tournament, okay.
It's like a total tournament, and the competition is fierce. So that's that. Then is the running. So the girls and the boys don't run against each other, but the boys run against boys of their own age group, and the girls against well, when I say girls, I mean actually women. And the women's dress is basically strange, but accurately described, a very short skirt. Like it's like a shift. But interestingly enough, their right breast is free. Nobody really knows why they did it this way, but this is how it's done. And they basically then start running. And it is a bit weird because all of the girls have long hair and all of the women have shaven heads, whereas the men have the long hair and the boys have the shaven heads. And everybody's running against people from their own age group. Again, people win. They get laurel wreaths. If you win, you get a laurel wreath. And it is... I mean, the competition is fierce. And then they ask if you would like to take part as well. Are you interested? You can either run or you can take part in the bow shooting.
I think Aisling would decline.
Okay, that's
because
fine.
Running, she's not a fast runner. That's not... For what? She's a fighter. She's not...
Yeah.
For what? And bow shooting, she's still quite conscious that she's not good at it at the moment. She's decent, but she's not good.
And they basically shoot. There's also a literal shootout. And again, somebody wins. They get a and women and men partake. And you learn that actually women go hunting in these here parts. And women also drive carts. So basically, they do horse racing, but they don't sit on the horses and race. What they do, that was something you saw in Nicostria, where they've got the huge stadium. But what they do is they actually also own horses and carts.
Yeah.
And send them off to competitions. And interestingly enough, the only woman to ever win an Olympics game in antiquity was a lady from Sparta whose team of horses won. Not only once, but several times. But it's known that the women of Sparta actually horse raced in carts. And this happens here as well. And women in Sparta went hunting, as do the women in Monophrastos. And then she says, your aunt has been staying with you. And people have been coming up to you over the course of the evening, introducing themselves, saying that
politely
you're welcome,
shaking
that you're so
hands
happy.
and...
Yes, and so on and so forth. And then we come to the time where music is going to be played. And now all of the men and the women form choirs. And they start singing. And it's choral singing, and while they sing, they start to dance. And the dance is different from what you saw last night, but it is also really intricate because they sing, and then they also do wheeling motions, and it's again more like a tattoo. So that's that part. Then come the men with they have a long spear and a shield. And they do shield and spear dancing, highly intricate. And that is a combination of what we would consider dance and what we would consider sword play.
Yeah.
And again, really quickly, and again, in formation. Very impressive. And then comes the final dance. And Siobhan is called forth. You can tell that she's a little bit pale.
It's cheering. You can do it from Aisling.
Let's see. Oh no. Okay, her Gewandtheit was a fail, but her Geschicklichkeit was a pass. So it's nerves. So now in dancing in front of everybody, she did it better last time. She does stumble, but she doesn't fall. So it's okay, but it's not as, it's now everybody who has been dancing with her last night or was dancing with her last night is now also in this competition mode. So rather than the teaching mode that they were in, now they're in the now we have to perform in front of all of our peers and everyone else. And then, of course, she falls a little bit by the wayside. But it's not a total disaster. And so now midnight is rolling around. In the meantime, while all of this was happening, there has been food and drink. So they do drink wine, but they always mix it with water. So nobody's drunk. That's very important. They don't drink to excess, unlike in Alba, where people tend to get really drunk.
Yeah, if you have alcohol, it's for a reason. To warm up or to celebrate and party. And
is Aisling having a good time?
She's enjoying the competition, I'm quite sure. She's really enjoying it. She also quickly probably picked out one or two favorites that she's supporting and cheering on, as she suspects others are doing as well.
Yes.
And she's definitely enjoying it. All the in between, talking, shaking hands, that's something she knows. She does not enjoy it, but it has to be done.
It would have happened in your father's hall as well. When he was still alive. People would have come. You would have been introduced.
That's a part of. It's but it has to be done. So smile and be polite. But the competition definitely she enjoys a lot to see, because it's something we don't have. Well, we have clearly in the castle there was competition and fighting, but not like this.
Yeah.
So.
And this is actually true. You've never seen anything as also orchestrated.
Yeah.
And as there are judges. There is
even the wrestling.
It's more like all out fighting. Like fist fights or brawling. This is orderly.
That's what we would have done. Fist fights, brawl, or then really sword fights or bow. I think bow shooting is the only thing that would be quite similar what we have as well at home.
And I personally like military tattoos. I know that they are kind of controversial, but I really like the precision with which they do this, and I find it amazing. But I think it's also something that kind of maybe would be less alien to Aisling than it might be to people of the 21st century, because you come from a warrior society.
Yeah, for sure. Although ours would just be different. It would not be. We would have something that goes in the same direction. Yeah. So for Aisling, it's more interesting. It's just it's interesting to see and learn how they do it. And as I said, the competition. She is someone who is quite competitive. So it's really. Yep. She's enjoying that part a lot.
And then at some point, however, the festivities do come to an end. You can see that there are now men saying goodbye to women. And
for the whole evening, at least Aisling would have been curious to see if Phanes was there.
Phanes was there, yes. Okay. Of course, and he was also competing. And he was looking at Siobhan a lot.
That would have been Aisling's little
when the women were dancing, he was actually he was. It was. I want to point out that the clothes that these women are wearing are super revealing. They're supposed to be, and also everybody else, depending what it is naked. So they don't have any problem with showing their bodies, and they have beautiful bodies. Both men and women are really fit. However, Phanes doesn't look at, and none of the men look, or no one looks at anybody else in a lecherous way. They appreciate the human form. that's very different, I think, from what we might think if somebody says, oh, and everybody was nude, you know, what was going on there. For them, that was normal.
Yeah.
And he is looking at her with the eyes of somebody who has fallen in love with someone else. So there is nothing sinister about it. It's just somebody who likes looking at Siobhan.
Aisling is a little bit between, oh, the poor guy, and look at that's adorable. But
also he's not approaching her at all. He's not even trying. He is keeping to himself. He's being a really decent man who has been told no, but still, I mean, he's still feeling for her. That's I think fair enough.
That's definitely fair enough. Yeah, that would just be a little bit in between. Clearly, she would have cheered on Siobhan after the dance, giving her a big bear hug, like, you were amazing.
She looks at me and says, well, you know, there were 2 times when I nearly fell, and it was only because I was holding on to Helena that I didn't fall.
Well, nobody saw that. You were amazing.
Farnes does catch your eye at some point. So basically, as he looks around, he sees you do anything.
I would give him a friendly wave with a smile, because I have no problem with him. We have no problem with each other.
He looks at you and he gives you a genuine smile, but you can also see that it's kind of like a relieved smile. So maybe he was a bit afraid that you would, you know, but he smiles at you. It's an open, genuine smile.
He's done nothing wrong, so there's no reason to be unfriendly. He was surprisingly nice. As Aisling says, no man back at home would sleep in front of the house because she has a weird epiphany of we have to do this differently. She sees him probably more like, oh, this is a lost puppy. That is probably more her idea of him.
Quite
like
a big puppy.
Yeah, but
easily 2 meters tall.
That poor, but well, no, that's so generally happy smile, because he's one of the only faces she really knows, or really kind of knows.
Yeah.
So.
And then at some point, everybody starts taking their leave and people start leaving. So I suppose, and Radamantia says, well, I hope that you did enjoy tonight, in spite of the fact that this was almost your last evening, but I did want you to see what life in Monofrastos is also like, and this is a huge part of what we do. It is part of our life.
I really enjoyed it, and it is very impressive. That is something that, at least back at home, you would not be able to find.
I understand that it's also quite cold where you are from.
True, so
we make the most of the weather.
So we need to be, but honestly, we don't do it like. I think the only thing that comes close is the bow shooting. That is something we do quite regularly as well, although I still have to work out how to cope with just seeing
having
with
just one eye.
So I'm still behind, quite a bit behind what I could do before the accident happened. But the rest,
what we say, practice makes perfect.
That's what I learned as well. I think it's quite common between everyone. You need to practice if you want to get better. And you need some patience to get better with that as well.
That is true.
But it's really impressive. It was big fun to see the competition and the running, and you have a lot of talented or skilled people here.
We teach them young.
And it pays, you see that. Our young ones mostly would not be able to do that.
And you also noticed that the youngest age group was really between 8 and 10.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
both
or 8 to
boys
10.
And girls, yeah.
No.
I mean, even today, between 8 and 10, you just don't. But they were drilled for only the one thing. And it shows. And then the two of you make your way home.
Yeah.
And interestingly enough, again, this is warm. People have been celebrating. People are talking, but there is no drunkenness, and there's no kind of like this people going all out. So people are conversing.
So it's more
But
the in the background, the
Yeah,
talk
but
that
it's
you hear
sedate.
here and there. Yeah.
And then you arrive at your house. And there is a little flower and a piece of string attached to it, and on it is a piece of paper, papyrus.
I will carefully pick it up and hand it over to Siobhan without even looking at it.
How do you know it's for me? It could be for you. What?
Come on, let's go inside.
You go inside. It's a poppy, blue poppy. You see them grow over everywhere. And she takes the piece of parchment, she unrolls it, and she sits down, and of course it's written down, so basically this takes a while because this is a script that she's only started to learn. And she says, "This is a love poem."
I suspect by Phanos.
I don't know if it is by him, but it is definitely from him. He signed it. And she points.
Then this is a nice memory from this place. We can say thank you and goodbye before we leave.
We have to. We do.
He's a nice guy. It would be good if we would have more like him back home.
Not if they all want to date me.
Well, it's just one.
Indeed, and that's one too many. And she takes it, but you can see that she is charmed by this. So she takes the papyrus. She basically smooths it out, and then she
you can put it in the journal.
Yes. And she does.
The flower we can even press.
We can press it. I was thinking the same thing. We could press it. We should. And basically you then just take the flower and you put it between two papyruses, because papyrus is also the one thing that you can get here quite cheaply, even cheaper than in Alba, because people write a lot.
Yeah.
And you can also see that people here are all literate. Everyone in Monophrastus can read and write. All children learn it, so lots of writing is being done.
That's good.
So she basically, you press the flower, and then she says, "I don't know about you, but I'm beat. I need to go to bed, especially if we want to go to Hellas tomorrow."
Go to sleep. I will have a last peek on the horses, and then I'll go to bed as well. And one thing Aisling would have done during the festival, she would have talked to her aunt that not tomorrow where they're going to Hellas, but the day after, if they want to have dinner together.
And she's delighted. But
even though it would be her place and so on, but
no, but she actually insists you will come to our place and we will cook for you. Yes,
it would be nice to have.
Of course. I will have to. This will make it possible for me to give you a farewell present. Is there anything in particular that you would like? Otherwise, I will just make a choice myself.
Just surprise me. Everything here is quite beautiful.
She smiles. And then you look after the horses.
I'll just peek if they're fine. They are cleaned and ready. Just giving them scritches, saying them goodnight. Tomorrow we will ride again. And
ears perk forward.
And
then you go to sleep.
Go to bed.
You go to bed. You wake up the next morning. This time Siobhan has beaten you to it. You wake up because you can hear noises from the kitchen.
Mm-hmm.
Do you open your eyes?
Yeah.
Okay, so you can smell somebody's been cooking.
Yeah, probably I will first smell and then open them.
Yeah. It's going to be hot breakfast, and you can also smell tea.
I will get up, wash myself, probably just, good morning, you are burning.
yeah, you know what? I feel invigorated. I think I should be doing more of this dancing. You know, the more you do it, the better it is for you. She now looks a lot more like Siobhan, so she's wearing her usual dress. She also doesn't, you know, maybe there was kind of like a little bit of strain on her because she was kind of worried about how she would be performing. So now she's totally relaxed, the way she usually is, because she's not somebody who broods a lot. She's more like a happy-go-lucky person. And you can see that she's been in full traveler mode because she's put up a little hamper that she's filled with stuff. So this is what we're going to take with us. And there's enough water and there's enough food to take us there and back again, just in case we can't find any wells. Although I very much doubt it, but you never know, because we come through one village and then we'll go to another. So there should be wells, but you never know. There are 3 apples, 1 for you, 1 for me, and half of 1 for each of the horses.
Good.
And here's breakfast. And then she piles the
Aisling
food
would
you.
add like 2 carrots for each of them.
Okay. She piles on the food.
Aisling will eat.
And then she basically says, then she turns around, she goes to the kitchen, she comes back with her hands behind her back. I've got a surprise.
Okay. Let me see.
She does it like this.
I will open
So
my
basic-
hand so she can put it in.
Yeah, so it's basically in her 2 hands. She puts it into her hand. It's a jar. They gave me honey. I know how you love honey. And I mentioned it just in passing to Aglaya. And Aglaya she brought you honey. Because she said you knew you liked it. Because I told her, this is for you.
This goes into our travel backstash. We don't need that for the 2 days, but we will definitely enjoy that on our road.
And then she says, well, if you're ready to go, I'm ready to go, because I have to say I'm curious about what they are going to tell us at that temple, because in this temple,
They should know more. Maybe they also know something against. Because it's
are you going to tell them that you have the sign?
No, I don't think so. You'll have to see. I'm still scared that if someone finds out, we are basically expelled from this country and are never allowed back again or something like that. We have still no idea what. We will see. But not initially. And is the question if we want to do a short?
Yes, I was just going to suggest that. Yes.
Yeah. Because
So
that would be a good point to make a short cut.
So it's a wonderful day again. So this seems to be par for the course. Although at some point maybe the whole blue skies, sun beating down does get old. But it is again nice because there's a constant wind from the sea, which is to your south. And you are now, just for orientation, traveling almost straight from east to west. You can give your horses free rein. Every so often you meet soldiers and different levels of agoge, paide, so children. But you also see helots who are working the fields. And also the so-called perioikoi, so all of the artisans that work there, the potters and so on. There's a mill, you know. And there is life. It's vibrant. And people are generally quite cheerful, but you also know that they don't really, I mean, they are known for speaking very little. Monophrastos means 1 syllable. So they're quite monosyllabic mostly. And then after, I want to say about 4 hours or so, you see Amuklai, which is another township. A little bit smaller than Monophrastos, but still quite sizable. And there's an agora. There are women and children about, again, mostly women and children in the actual village.
Okay.
You pass through it, and you know that Helos is about 2.5 hours on horseback.
Okay.
I assume that you also take a couple of minutes rest here or there.
Yeah, I think we would rest here, see if we can get some water for the horses, and for ourselves, probably fresh water is nicer than the warm water from the bottle.
On the agora there is a well, and you're welcome to it.
Yeah.
No pun intended. And and so you, and of course people do look at you. People kind of have heard that you have arrived, but the people from Amuklai wouldn't have traveled. So now they see you, and that you do still look different because you're wearing different clothes.
Yeah, we would just friendly greet them, just ask, and have
And
a
people
short
are
break.
friendly and greet you.
A
And-
carrot for each of our horses in between for Schnakic.
The horses love you.
I know how to bribe them.
And then you see Hilos approaching in the distance. That is the smallest of the 3 townships. But it has a really huge building, which is temple to the goddess Artemis Orthea, the goddess of order. And this one is bigger, way bigger than the Athena temple in Monophrastos. And it's made completely of stone. And outside of it is a huge altar. And the altar is kind of like in an amphitheater-like indentation in the ground. And around it are actually seats.
Okay.
What do you do?
First and foremost, find a place to at least bind up the horses.
Agora is the place to go because that's where the well is as well.
And then walk over to the temple and see if we can find someone that looks like official.
This temple is a lot more frequented, you have the feeling, than the Athena temple because there are more people around it. You also see around it little, sometimes it's a figurine, pottery, maybe a tablet with some inscription that people have left out on the outside of the temple. So there are little niches in the stone where they've placed these offerings to the goddess.
Not sure if I'm quite sure we would have asked Fëanor for the name of the priestess we have to look for.
Her name is Gorgo.
Gorgo, okay.
That's the head priestess, but you've also been informed that they have 6 priestesses here. And the head priestess. So there's 7 women constantly worshipping this goddess.
That's quite a lot. And you need to move your bowl of snacks a bit away from your microphone. If
Moved
not,
away.
I'm sorry for everyone listening.
And then you go inside.
And first of all, clearly also have a look around.
And there are women and men inside the temple. They are obviously praying. And
We will not disturb anyone in praying, so have a look around and see if we can find like a priestess.
first of all, you see the goddess herself. Well, not herself, but you see a statue of the goddess. She's again superhumanly tall, 4 meters. She is depicted wearing a shortish skirt, like a skiff, like what, like a shiv, like what the ladies were wearing when they were dancing, and she has a bow and arrow, long hair. She's also barefoot. And she looks like she's ready to go hunting.
A little bit of plus points from Aisling on, like I kind of like that.
And again, she is like, this is not just any old person, but somebody decided that this person was going to look like a real woman. So a face that you would recognize if you saw it again, full of expression. Maybe a little bit on the haughty side. But again, somebody who with poise and beautiful and especially also very strong and very fit looking. And yeah, so there are also women, some of them a little bit older, who are closer to the altar and who are doing things there. So possibly those are priestesses.
Well, it's a question, are they like doing like a ceremony?
No, they're more like, maybe almost like a little bit of brushing here and there and putting stuff there, and they're also decorating it a little bit with flowers.
Then Aisling would step up to one of them, just very carefully say, good day.
Kalimera.
We are looking for Gorgo, your head priestess.
And who are you?
I'm Aisling. The head priestess or priestess from
The Temple of Athena?
The Temple of Athena. Phaino sent us here to speak to your head priestess.
I see. Will you please wait here? And she points to seats. So basically there are pews.
Yeah, we would just sit down.
And
be very quiet. And wait.
And wait. Siobhan is looking around. She's in awe. I mean, she feels the closeness of a deity. Maybe more than you do. Who knows? Do you feel like there is a deity close to you?
No.
No. Okay.
I don't think she even cares about that. She would not sit here and try to see if she feels anything. She's just waiting patiently. That's all.
And
I think
after
the
a while,
god would need to smack her in the face to really get her.
And as you
it.
think this, the goddess steps down from the plinth and whacks you across the face.
Exactly.
No. But after maybe 5 to 10 minutes, somebody does show up. It's not the goddess. She doesn't even look remotely like her. You see a very old woman, maybe in her 70s to 80s, but still quite fit and still quite tall, although we shrink with age. And she looks at you and she says, I am Gorgo, and who are you?
My name is Aisling. This is my friend Siobhan. Phaino, as well as... Did I mention I hate the names of all these people?
And I made you a list as well. I can't call them Tom, Dick and Harry.
Why not?
Because this is Chrysia.
Radamantia told me that you knew my mother.
And who is your mother?
Her name was Jacinta. She grew up in Monophrastus. And I think it was the plan that she should have become a priestess of the temple, but she decided differently.
Your mother was Jacinta.
Yes.
She takes a step back and she takes you in, like your whole body, and she says, you do not look very much like her, although she was also very tall.
Well, I'm having more the looks of my father, more the inside of my mother, thankfully so.
She cocks an eyebrow. Thankfully so.
Yes.
How is she?
Not with us anymore for quite a while now.
I'm very sorry to hear that.
It has been years, so... But I don't know much about my mother, and this travel is just to find a little bit out about her. I have basically just a name where she came from. I already met my aunt and, as I said, Phaino. But they all pointed to you that you know her better, and maybe you can bring some light into why on earth she left home and traveled north to meet my clan and my father and settle there.
Will we take a walk?
Yes, that would be lovely. Only if you have time. I don't want to intrude in if you have anything else to do.
I believe that time is what the gods give us. And then we have things that happen in a timely manner. And I think your coming here is not a coincidence. Please step outside.
I will follow her.
Your mother left because she was destined for a fate that she ran from.
I only heard she was destined to become priestess here.
Oh, not only just a priestess. She was going to become a warrior in the name of Orthea, to bring down the Lord of Chaos, or to at least stand in his way. And she was very good at it. She would have been a fine warrior. She would have fought the demons, and she would have succeeded. However, one day she confided in me that she could not go on because she had seen in a vision that the Lord of Chaos was going to bring down her family. So she decided to leave all of this behind her.
Ashley would probably just like peek over to Siobhan.
Siobhan looks at you intensely. I did not agree with her. I told her she should stay because this was her place and this was her fate. But then again, your mother has her own head. Had her own head.
Definitely. And
There was nothing I could do to stop her.
if she's just half what I am, I can imagine that she did her own thing and just traveled north.
Oh, let me assure you, having her as an acolyte wasn't easy. But she was one of the best.
I see probably a little smirk from Siobhan on this.
Yeah.
Fitting description. So, but that means there are ways to fight the Lord of Chaos.
Of course, it is a constant struggle. But we also say that one day there will be a last battle. And all who are on the good side will ally against him. In the meantime, his children wreak havoc where they can.
We read somewhere about two sisters. I'm not sure if they are like the daughters of him.
Oh, he has many children.
We found them with the name Kunta and Ruha. I'm not sure if that's names you use as well, because your namings are quite different.
I can't say that I know her names, but we know that he has many children. He has been around since before, forever.
So he has like his base in the... Was it Thalassus?
Oh no, Thalassa is simply a place here. We have many demons there, but his is the domain of chaos. You see, this world that we live in is just one of many. There are others. And he commands the world of chaos. And he has found a way into our world. He came first and he will be last. But why does this concern you? Did
Well,
your mother not tell you?
I I never really talked to her.
I see.
Grew up without her.
I'm sorry to hear that.
Me too. Although it's probably for the best, because she would not be happy with the situation that we are all in at the moment.
What situation is that?
You said she had a vision about her family being in danger by the Lord of Chaos.
So she said, and she sounded sincere. I had no reason to doubt her. I tried to encourage her, but this was even more reason to fight, to follow the path of the warrior priestess, and to stand up against him and his brood.
Well, he and his family have clearly the claws in my family. Not in those here, as far as I can see, but back home. So
So she did not run from the prophecy, she ran straight towards it.
It seems like it. I don't even think she realizes or realized it. Or maybe, probably. But then it was too late. But I am looking for ways how to blankly get rid of the connection. Or at least fight it. Because
So what is your connection? You have met the Lord of Chaos? I cannot imagine that. Although, who knows?
looking again at Siobhan.
She gives you a stare. Go on, say it.
Well, I've met him, I think, once. And his son, definitely twice.
You can see that her eyes are getting larger and larger.
And not in a happy way, just to say that. I'm not praying to them, or... As I said, I want to get rid of them.
You have met them. And you're still alive.
Well,
How?
I'm the last one that is alive, and it seems like I'm a play toy they enjoy meddling with.
How did they find you?
They found my parents. So I was just born into the situation.
Prove it. Prove to me that you have spoken to them. What did they say?
I don't really have to tell you what they say. It's probably enough to show you. And she would turn around and she would pull down, like, the part of her shirt. I woke up with this.
You hear that she sucks in the air through her teeth.
Back in One of Frosters, no one knows about this, and it would be good if they would not worry about this.
And we will not tell them.
Good.
Because this I have never seen before. I have never seen this unholy symbol on a human's flesh.
Well, they meddled with my family a lot. And
Not
as I
only
said,
that, they have singled you out.
True. I am the last one. of my family. At least back home here, there are more. I clearly don't want to endanger them.
Now I am wondering if what she saw was not something that she misinterpreted. Maybe there is something in you, in her blood, that is dangerous to them. I mean, even you standing in front of me, having confronted both of them and known them for what they are, and have survived.
Well, I blankly learned about them afterwards. I was just thinking that they were some kind of higher power. I don't know, deity, demon, whatever, and I just tried to get rid of them, which did not work.
But the fact that they didn't kill you outright, although you defied them.
I'm quite sure they have plans for me.
I can assure you that everyone that I know who has ever met a demon has brought back more than that, if they lived to tell the tale.
Well, they destroyed my family, kind of, although probably rather my stubbornness destroyed a lot of it. Not giving in. Returning.
So there was a bargain on the offer?
On my father's side, yes.
What did that entail?
That my mother fell in love with him and not with someone else she was with the actual clan leader. He wanted power and the beautiful woman.
And then how did that affect you, except, of course, apart from the fact that this is why you are standing in front of me, I assume?
I learned from this pact when my father died. And I decided to give up the clan and return to its rightful owner. So I'm without clan now, which is basically like without a family in your world. But at least that wrong that my father made is reversed. And I think I did not make them quite happy with that decision.
Probably that is an understatement.
But I'm still here and I still have no idea how to get rid of them. Because next to them being extremely annoying, I don't want to work with them, for them, or want anything to do with them.
I will tell you the truth. They will never leave you alone. If they are not with you at the moment, that is just only some respite. They have marked you. I have never seen anyone marked like this. I have known women and men who have stood against them, who have been dangerous to them, and who have given them grief, shall we say. But none were ever marked. The fact that you are marked like this marks you, pardon the pun, out as someone special in their eyes. They will never let you go. Unless you face them and you kill them or die trying. I think these are the only options that you have. Or, of course, give in to them.
That is not the option. I would definitely rather die than that.
You now hear that Siobhan clears her throat.
Why? What they want with me? They never really specified.
I would say that knowing the mind of a demon is as difficult as it is to know and understand the mind of a god. I have been listening to the goddess Orthia for almost 8 decades, and I still do not always understand and what she's telling me. Sometimes it takes me a month to fathom the meaning of just one of her words to me. I cannot tell you what they want with you. The only thing that I think is probably the case is that they are afraid of you. Maybe you have something about you that can kill them once and for all.
I would love to do that. I came here next to learning why my mother left. Thank you for sharing that. To see if I can learn anything about the Lord of Chaos and especially a son. And because as far as I usually know, if you know more about your fiend, you might find easier ways to stand against them.
I can offer you one thing that may help you more than I can. I can offer you to listen to the voice of the goddess and ask her yourself.
The gods are not interested in helping.
I can only tell you that each warrior priestess has a private audience with her goddess before she finishes her education, shall we say, her training.
Well, she is not my goddess, so this will not work. So there's nothing to read or any more stories or anything like that.
Why would she not? Why would it not work? I mean, he is not your demon, and yet he spoke to you. Do not go so easily to dismiss the gods. Your mother didn't. She did not ever deny the goddess.
I'm not denying that they are there. I just state and live daily that they don't care about me or my family.
You do not know that.
Well, they show it.
How did Orthia ever show you that she does not care for you? She doesn't. You have never spoken to her. You have never prayed to her.
Because they have other things to do.
So why would a demon take all of this time to look after you, but the gods you think do not?
Because I am obviously an easy target.
Well, I will not force you, but if I were you, I would think about this twice before I deny this opportunity.
Oh,
because
I can sit in the temple and see what happens. I have no idea.
You do not go to a temple to meet the goddess. To speak words with her, you have to go to where she is.
She's not here.
She turns around, she points to the temple. No, she is not here. She is there. And she turns around and points beyond you onto the Taygetus mountain. That is where she lives.
In the mountains.
That is where she lives. There is a ravine, and at the very bottom of it, that is where each of us goes to converse with her once in our lives. Where each of us will get the answer to the question that we need to ask to follow the right path. And no, I cannot tell you what my question was, nor what she said.
That's for you and your goddess.
But I do know that your mother went.
Well, we can give it a try.
You should.
Is there a place... Just by distance, would Aisling have a rough idea on how far the travel would be? Or if not, she would ask Gorgo how long it takes to get from here to there by horse.
Oh, you can take the horses, but you will have to leave them, because once you reach the mountain, it is way too steep to climb. But The journey usually takes a day. You have to set out in the morning and you arrive late at night. It is part of the trial to climb the mountain in darkness.
Well, I'm not scared of mountains and climbing. I'm used to that. Would there be... Would you mind just that... Could we just talk a piece of quiet for a few minutes?
Of course. Why do you not sit over there, in that grove?
We don't need long. We probably just need maybe some help afterwards.
I will go back inside. Come and find me.
Thank you.
Children. And she walks away. And again you notice how sprightly she is.
Mm. I don't really think it will help. Should we give it a try anyhow?
You know what I will say.
Yes, we will give it a try. Also means we need to stay a bit longer than planned. I will need to ask that word is sent to my aunt that she knows that we are not coming back and we will not be there for dinner tomorrow.
You are so worried.
Well, I don't want them to worry.
No, but I thought that you would jump at the opportunity to find out more.
Again, what they are telling is not really hope or helpful.
You do not know that. They are telling you that you can speak to the one being that is the complete opposite of your nemesis.
As I said, so far the gods were no-shows. The only one caring about my family are the ones you don't want anyone to worry and care about. The thing is, whatever we heard so far is basically telling me that I can just jump off the cliff and end it, because there's no way out of it.
If you jump, then well, so will I.
Well, I will not jump. I will live my life as best as I can and enjoy the moments I have until they show up again. But let's give it a try. It will not hurt. Well, except I fall from the mountain in the darkness. Why? Again, why? Decent people would just have a space where you can easily go to without endangering your life. It all gives me arguments against them.
Siobhan starts laughing. You are the most pig-headed person I have ever met. And do you know what? I feel like taking you by the shoulders and giving you a really good shake and then slap you right into next Sunday.
Oh, go on.
Will you?
It will not change.
Will you please, just once give yourself over to the divine and not always criticize everything that doesn't go the way you expect it to go. Sometimes, and this is the secret of true belief, you just have to let go and you have to accept that there is a divine will out there that we are all subject to.
And that is a way of life that I can't live. I am my own master. And the gods and demons are playing games with us. Some, like your goddess, thankfully nicely so. The idea that we are all puppets in their world. How on earth do you even get up in the morning with that? I just try to ignore that they exist as best as I can.
Roll on mention kindness.
The point where Siobhan and Aisling could not be farther apart from each other. Nope.
What did you get?
A 3.
What you see is that Siobhan tears are welling up in her eyes.
Aisling would grab her hand. It's not that I think something is wrong with you. I am usually the one that is wrong, but I just don't or can't get it. I was never someone to believe in the gods, or anyone who ever wanted the gods to decide what my life would be. That's probably why they are not around. Because I clearly told them that I don't want them around. If they even care. I don't know. They are always so cryptic. They're not... Just give a clear answer, clear path. That would make life much easier for everyone. I'm glad you find strength and support in your god. As I said, I don't think they care about me. If not, all of this would have never happened.
I know she does.
Well, then we have one at least believing.
This is not about me believing. This is about me knowing. This is like I know that sun sets and moon rises. Stars travel across the horizon at night. This is how I know where east is and west. And when it's the longest day and the shortest night. I know it.
Why did no one stop what happened? Because now it's too late.
It is not too late.
They could have stopped this much earlier.
I do not think that they can.
Which doesn't make it better. But well. The situation is like it is. I'll climb a mountain. I will see if something happens. And then we return with whatever result we have. And then we will see. Maybe they will not show up again because they're bored with me. I don't know. That's been quite a long time. Probably I shouldn't say that, I'm jinxing it, but...
Alright, then let's go. Go and find the priestess, I'll wait here.
I will see that we can find a place to stay this night, because I don't want to travel overnight. At least not
yeah, she said you should
travel.
set out in the morning.
And I will ask her to bring news to Mount. That they know that it's on purpose that we are not returning and not that we got lost or something else.
She turns around and goes to the grove that Gorgo indicated. And you can see her vanish between the trees.
Yep. Aisling will go to the temple and will look for Gorgo.
Mm-hmm. It's not hard to find her because she's sitting in front of the, in the first pew, and she's obviously talking to her goddess in her mind. This is what it looks like. She's transfixed and staring at the deity. But she noticed that you're approaching.
Okay.
You wonder how she did it because you were being quiet.
Well, not extremely quiet. She would just normal walk. It's not like she wants to sneak around. Well, we will give it a go. the question is there a place we can stay overnight so we can set out tomorrow morning?
Of course, you will stay here.
Oh, thank you. And is there a way to send message to my aunt that she knows that everything is okay, that we are not returning tomorrow?
We will send
But
a
it
boy.
will take 1 or 2 days longer, just that she's not worried?
Yes, it will be taken care of.
Thank you.
I will show
Aisling
you-
is already one point like asking what it costs, and then she stops herself like, no, they don't take money. They don't take money.
I will show you your room. Where is your friend?
In the grove, I will get her later and show her.
Follow me. She takes you to a room.
Mhm.
It's got 2 beds.
I would
It's
suspect it's quite simple and
yeah,
that's-
but
that's-
you've noticed that everything here is
It's
kind of
clean.
simple.
yeah,
It's
but,
clean.
But
It is absolutely spotless. And she says, you can sleep here. I will see to it that you get food, and I will wake you tomorrow. Before sunrise, I will give you food, and I will give you enough to drink to make the journey there and back. I will
Thank
tell you
you.
exactly where to go, and I will make sure that I will pray for you.
Thank you very much for your help.
And with that, she leaves you.
I think Aisling will plonk herself on the bed for a few minutes. And then she will get up. She will go to the grove and see if she can find Siobhan.
You can hear a voice talking.
Then she will turn around on heels because she will not disturb Siobhan praying to her goddess. And she will have a look for the horses just to inform them what is the plan, because she shares things, at least with Storm. And that tomorrow we travel
Do you
on.
tell him about this whole "you are cursed and you will meet a goddess" thing? Or?
He knows all of this, obviously, because he's been along the ride. No, she would just that we are trying something and we will travel towards the mountains there, and that we will
Of course,
be on
both
the road
horses
a little
look
bit
towards the
longer.
mountain. Storm looks excited. Percy's like, that looks awfully high.
You will make a stop before we get there. We will not be too mean for you guys, and she will give a little bit of scritches.
And Storm puts his big head on your shoulder and he leans in for a kind of like a really big hug.
Yeah, he will get the hug, because Aisling is quite desperate and kind of, as you see, quite lost, because this is all just like it's not a solution. She can just take this, do this, punch that, done. That is what she wanted to get, and she did not. And now it's more cryptical things, or nothing to come. We will see. And she will then. I don't know if we can leave the horses there.
They are actually, there's a stable.
Okay, yeah, then she will bring them to the stable, make sure that they are properly there. I will tell that tomorrow, earliest morning, we'll be there to grab them. And then I would go back to the grove.
Just the voice has stopped.
She would very carefully be just, Siobhan, we got a room?
Siobhan emerges from the grove. She doesn't look well. She has been crying, like, a lot. All right then.
The horses are in the stable. We can pick them up early in the morning.
All
Gogo
right.
will wake us up also with some food and drink. And you can get out of this whenever you want, yes? You don't have to follow me around. I know I am a burden, and I know this is all far against what you want.
When you say the word "I'm a burden," she takes a step towards you and she just gives you a very big hug.
Aisling will hug her back. We need some sleep.
Mm-hmm. Yes, we do. And the two of you go to the room. Somebody has brought food there and water.
I think Aisling will not really eat. She will drink a little bit. Maybe just get like a little bite. And then plonk herself on the bed.
Siobhan is somebody who needs to be in a very, very bad way before she stops eating, so she does eat. And then she says, I am not following you. I am walking by your side. There is a difference.
Good. I'm glad to hear that.
And you, and she pokes you on the sternum, are not a burden.
Well, life would be much easier without all of this. Maybe more boring for you. Less adventurous. Less stubborn.
It would be less you.
Very true.
There you are.
Well,
don't forget, this was my choice. I could have said no. As soon as I was of age, I could have stayed in the temple. I decided not to.
I just want to make sure that you know that you can say no whenever.
I know.
Because I know I'm a stubborn. Maybe lost cause, I'm not sure. At least a problematic cause.
You're never lost.
Well, have you?
Thanks for pointing this out. Sometimes it's good to hear it.
Let's get some rest. Tomorrow we have to climb. Or I have to climb. I'm not sure how far you want to join the ride or not.
I will go to the very ends.
Then maybe you have luck to get answers. Or is that exclusive that only your god is talking to you? I'm still not sure how this works.
My goddess is talking to you all the time. It's just you who's not listening.
Well, she's not sending clear messages. At least nothing arrives at my step.
Yes. Yeah. Okay, let's just go to bed.
Mm-hmm.
And she goes to bed and she falls asleep pretty quickly. Do you manage to go to sleep, or do you want to kind of like think, or do you just...
I don't if she falls asleep, it will be very restless.
Okay, so you're in a fitful sleep.
So, clearly the body gets a little bit of rest, but she is... Yeah, definitely her mind is not at rest.
Her mind is not at rest, okay. You wake up the next morning because somebody knocks on the door. Well, you are probably already awake, but Siobhan isn't. So she gets woken by this. And it's gotta go. And she basically puts down food in front of you and also a bag, like a messenger bag kind of thing, with food and drink. And she explains to you exactly what you need to do, where you need to go. And she says, well, you just follow the path straight towards the path from... It literally, it's like a pilgrim's path.
Yeah.
It starts at the temple that you're at. You just follow it. Then you get to the mountain. And then you have to climb, but basically, you don't have to climb the whole Taygetus mountain range. You just climb about half of it, or maybe a third. And then there is a ravine. Now, the Taygetus itself is very, very woody. So it's not going to be as hot as it is out here. And then there is a ravine, and you just follow that ravine. And at the end, there is a hole that leads into the ground. So it's a natural cave. And that's where you go, and that's where the goddess is.
Do we need to be aware of any animals being dangerous? Wolves, bears?
There are wolves and bears, but I doubt that they will come to you.
Thank you so far for your help. We will clearly peek in and return what we have when we come back.
You set out. It's about 2 hours by horse, on horseback, until you reach the place where you have to leave the horses. But it's okay because there's kind of like a little stream, so rivulet, you can leave them there. They will have something to drink. There's also water that they can graze on, so that would be fine. Then you climb. And it is easy to make out the path. So there is a path. So probably generations, no, not probably, but generations and generations of women have made that trip. And it is arduous, but it's not so terrible because the two of you have been doing a lot of climbing when you climbed the Nykteros, and it's again not climbing like straight up, but there is a path, so you just follow this. And it's humid and it's nice, and there is this smell. You smell all kinds of trees, you smell the sap of the trees, you also smell herbs. You hear birds. There is a lot more birds here because probably it's less hot, so it's less kind of like sun beating down. And after a good while, possibly around 6 hours or so, so it's getting dark, you notice that it's leveling up. It's leveling, and you now walk straight between two rising mountain sides, as it were. So there's sheer cliff face on either side, and it's full of moss, and it's now really dark. And then you come to the cave. The cave itself, now you can see that this is obviously a place of worship, because again, you find little figurines, you find tablets that people have placed there. People have been burning candles. So there is candle wax. You can see some candles that have since been extinguished. And there is and people have been walking in and out. You can definitely see footprints, not fresh ones, but this is where people have been standing. This is where people may have been praying, conducting services. So there's been lots of traffic, as it were. Do you go inside?
Definitely, yes. It's a question if we go together. If Siobhan waits outside, I'm not sure. Aisling would probably look at Siobhan and be like, should we go?
We've come this far. You step inside.
Yep.
A gust of wind picks up. It comes from the depth of that cave. And it is strong enough so that your hair... Is it braided today, or do you wear your hair open today?
It's definitely braided. In that heat, she would make sure that it's not, because it would just stick to you.
Okay. So, but your clothes, it is strong enough that you can feel the wind tear at your clothes. It's not like you would be blown back, but there is definitely a gust of wind that wasn't there before. It only picked up once you started to go into the cave, once you set your foot across the threshold, as it were. So you keep walking. You can hear your footsteps echoing. It is cold. It's getting cold quite rapidly. You can hear the trickling of water. You smell the moss. You smell decay of plant matter. So maybe there are kind of like, dying plants or dead plants. Possibly. You also smell the musty smell of mushrooms. And it is, after a while, you notice that it's kind of glowing green. So there is luminescent plants that basically line the cave walls. And then you hear a voice. And it calls your name. Aisling. Welcome.
Definitely.
I had hoped you would come.
Looking at Siobhan.
You can tell by looking at her face that she's heard it too.
Okay. So, no hallucination. You were waiting for me? Aisling would very in a low voice. Like, answer?
Yes. Waiting and hoping you would come.
Well, we are here now.
You hear kind of like really appeal of laughter, not any malicious laughter, but
Yeah.
like, yes, I can see you.
We are looking for a way to stop the link between the Lord of Chaos and my family, as you know.
I know.
The question is there a way?
Where there's a will, there is always a way.
Raised eyebrow from Aisling with look at Siobhan. She will probably bend over to Siobhan. Are you sure it's not just an old lady sitting there knowing that we were...
The voice that you're hearing is not an old lady's voice. It's actually a voice that sounds like the voice of a 30-year-old. And it's a lovely voice. It's a nice voice to listen to. She should read the phone book.
Any other tips for us?
You can ask me one question. And this reminds you of when you saw the witches in the... Who offered you one question? Do you remember what you asked?
I didn't ask any question, did I?
You did?
Did I?
Mm-hmm. And Siobhan nearly took your head off for it. You asked, is Siobhan going to get home safely one day? And their answer was, one day.
Before I ask any questions, I need to make sure that you are who you think you are, because there are a lot of things out there that would use that one question for nice things to bind us.
You want me to prove to you that I am the goddess of order. How can I do that?
I honestly don't know. Well, the one question is, how do I stop the link between Lord of Chaos and my family?
And I shall answer it for you. Close your eyes.
Aisling will grab Siobhan's hand.
Yeah.
And then close her eyes. She's just waiting for a hole to open.
You see in your mind's eye a scene. It is a nondescript place. Dark. You're standing on firm ground. Siobhan is next to you. And you see Cirrus. And he approaches you with a drawn sword. Battle is joined. And you drive your sword through him as he drives his sword through Siobhan. Both of them fall to the ground. The vision finishes.
I think Aisling would open her eyes, look at Siobhan, and then just look at the... basically the black hole tunnel, the rest of what is in front of them. Well, that's not really helpful, because I hope it never gets to what you just showed me.
One way or another, this is your fate.
Siobhan would see that Aisling, basically her shoulders slump.
Siobhan puts her hand on your... She's very careful not to touch the place where the sigil is, so she places it a little bit below it.
Mm-hmm.
Spreading out her hand, her fingers, to kind of steady you a little.
Well, thank you for taking the time. And Aisling would turn around and leave the cave.
Siobhan is kind of like... you can see that she's kind of... or you feel that she's confused, because to her nothing has happened, obviously, because she didn't hear anything, and then she follows you and picks up her pace, that she catches up with you, and she says, she didn't say anything.
No, she just sent me a vision.
Really? What was the vision?
You dying. So...
What? How is this about me?
I don't know.
She sent you a vision of me dying.
Well...
She holds onto your arm and she turns you so that you're facing her. And she says, what did you see exactly?
She will describe exactly what she saw.
So you're fighting the sun and you kill him.
And he kills you in return.
Well, that's not the point. The point is you kill him, so you win.
No, I lose.
What would be the alternative? That he kills you? That's not an alternative.
Well, as I said, I will enjoy my life as long as I can with you together, and then we will just see what happens. It will not come to that. I don't freaking care what any god thinks.
I don't think that this is something that the gods think. I think that this is what is generally called fate.
Well,
it will happen.
I will fight with whatever I have against that.
Aisling, you can rid the world of one of the greatest evils that's ever befallen it. And you just... What?
The only thing I know that I get the sword in him. I have no proof of he's not getting up or poofing and somewhere else showing up.
I doubt that he would. I think
he's
that
not human. A simple stupid sword will not hurt him.
And I do not believe that you are entirely human either.
Well... If I'm not human, it means I'm part of their freaking family, which I don't even want to slightly think of.
No, you're part of your mother's family. You are part of this, and she looks around.
But my mother is human.
You don't know that. You've
They are
never met
all
her.
human here.
You do not know that. You have never asked them. You don't know what happens to them when they go through that training, do you? You have no idea how they are chosen. We just know that they are declared their fate. We don't know anything about these people. Who is saying that they are not different, that they are not somehow chosen? Look at the witches that we have in our country. I doubt that they are actually fully human. We saw the women in the woods. Do you really think... They said they spoke about having been here for centuries. Do you really think that they are human? Fully? I do not. I do not think that I'm not human. I do not think that I'm in any way special, but I've always known that there is something special about you. It may not be something that you like.
I hope I'm human, because I don't want to be anything else, and you are much more special than me. Well, I'm special in a very bad way, in a very cursed way.
No, you are not.
I am cursed, literally.
You are not cursed.
I am cursed. My whole family is cursed. Thanks to both my parents, as I know now, in a very different way. Although we don't know if my mother would have had the same fate if she stayed here and married here. Probably.
What's your constitution?
My constitution is 87.
Okay. You do not faint. But you feel a terrible, terrible pain behind your shoulder, between your shoulder blades.
Siobhan definitely sees that. It's not that. But this causes definitely Aisling to get really angry.
What is it now?
She would just look like upstairs. Wherever you are, leave me alone, or I will murder your son.
What has just happened?
She would probably, like... He made himself prominent again.
The sigil.
Yes. Coward.
Turn around. Please.
She will turn around.
Actually, I do not think so.
What? You do not
The sigil
think so?
is not gone, but it is changed.
What? How did it change? Let's find space where we have like sand or earth you can draw.
You go outside, there is...
Yeah.
It's not a problem. And she draws the sigil, but it has in fact been altered. It is now as if it's been emblazoned on a shield. And a bow and an arrow are crossed over it.
She will look towards the cave, and just in normal voice, she will not yell. Thank you, but I will not follow this path. Let's go home.
Let's go home. You leave the mountain. Do you say anything?
No, Aisling will be deep in thought. She will function in a way that she will walk in a
of course,
safe
yes,
way.
yes, yeah.
She will climb.
Yeah, no.
She
That's
will
understood.
definitely be completely stuck in her own head, trying to figure out what she does with basically what happened now.
After several hours of in this case, really literally following you because the path isn't made out for two people to walk abreast, she does say, "Can we at least talk about this?"
What should we talk about it?
Penny, for your thoughts, you're scaring me. And this has only ever happened once.
Well, now I'm the play ball of multiple gods. Great. I don't want to play their freaking games.
I actually don't think that this is a game. I think that this is a sigil of warding.
We'll see if he shows up again.
He may show up all right. But I think that this will keep you safe.
I would rather have a sign that keeps you safe. Because whatever I've seen there, it will not happen. Period.
If it does, it does.
No. Your life is too precious to be lost over this.
I don't want to die.
And you will not. Well, one day of old age, obviously, but not like that.
I don't think this is your decision.
Oh, believe me. As I said, I don't believe that everything is pre-decided, because then we can just stop functioning. We decide what our lives are. And I will not accept that you die over this. By his hand. No way.
I hope that one day you will see what is right. And that sometimes people have to make sacrifices for something that is called the greater good.
I've sacrificed a lot. I just want to have my life. That's it. My whole family died because of this insanity.
I don't
You're
think
the
that
only family I have left.
I don't know what to say to this. But if my death means that we will be rid of this, then so be it.
You remember what you said? If I die, you die? We have a
Yes.
vice versa situation there. So, for what?
So let's just, like you said, go home and let's not think about this anymore. Although you do know in your heart of hearts that I believe it will come to pass.
And I know that I will do everything that it's not happening.
But whatever you do, please do not ever endanger yourself.
I fought him. And I'm always endangering myself. I will not be able to give you that promise. I will not throw my life away easily. That's the only thing I can tell you.
At least in your vision you lived.
Yeah, because that was just a snippet of it. We
Maybe
just
it was-
got like, or I just got like a picture frame in a whole story.
But that was the one part of the story that really mattered. That you know that you can win.
It's not winning. It's losing. Again.
But you also know that I'm going to make it safely back home one day. Have you forgotten that?
No, but that just means that it happens at home.
I don't think so. I have faith.
I still don't. And I'll probably never will.
And with that, you reach the bottom of the mountain. You see the horses.
I think when we're getting close, she would whistle for Storm that they know early that we are arriving.
Storm is really excited. But he notices that you're in a somber mood because they are really sensitive that way. Percy smiles at you as he always does. And, and then the two of you get on your horses and you ride back.
And right back.
And we will leave it there.
Well.
Thank you very much for playing.
Thank you very much for telling the story with me and enduring Ashling's stubbornness about gods are stupid.
Well, at least it was a revelation. Not that part, because we knew that beforehand, but I do hope that you were a little bit surprised.
But yes, not what she wanted to see. Couldn't there be an easier way? Snap with the finger and he is gone.
Yeah,
or
because
say a word and turn in a circle.
That's how big bads work. In every single story we've ever seen or read or heard about. You just do it like this and then they are gone. So we will see in 2 weeks' time what happens.
Yeah, let's see. Thank you everyone for listening and sticking around.
Yes, thank you so much and have a lovely day, evening, night whenever you are listening to this or watching. Talk to you soon. Bye.
Bye.
O hi hi mina morviena, o hi hi mina korviena, o hi hi mina karachen, hi mina skaren fojo, hi mi gondalan taches an trukuk mi, Kerer or am feiltjes a chan en a hookas mi, jev mi an eigus gran rukim, nach recht ging tunich en or. O hi mina morviena, o hi mina korviena, o hi mina karachen, hi mina skaren foicho.